anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. The Stonewall Museum in Fort Lauderdale recreates the Stonewall Riots of New York City. The community came out to show how far we've come and how far we have to go.
The man accused of fatally stabbing transgender University of Washington student Juniper Blessing was ruled incompetent for trial. This has delayed proceedings as LGBTQ advocates continue seeking justice and community healing.
2 women, including the victim's daughter and her girlfriend, were arrested in Ohio for the killing of a 67-year-old Maryland woman. The arrest happened after a resident recognized them from media reports.
A federal judge certified a class of transgender service members and recruits challenging the Trump military ban. This has broadened the lawsuit's reach, and it positions any future rulings to benefit all affected troops.
A watershed and deeply contentious ruling from the nation's highest court. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that states may legally bar transgender girls and women from competing on female school and college sports teams. The decision has sparked intense outrage from LGBTQ+ advocates.
All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified that Queer News Tonight's YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views. We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice and our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
That's right, Vaughn. It is Wednesday, July 1st. Take it in. It's July 1st. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate on the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America. Hotspots Happening Out and Happening Out South Florida.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
This year, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Brian Bender. Brian's a true South Florida local. He's an educator, a community leader, and a strong voice in education, history, and public policy. He teaches in Broward County Public Schools, holds a bachelor's and master's degree in education, and a postgraduate degree in leadership, and serves on the Fort Lauderdale Education Advisory Board. Welcome back to the table, Bri.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm not in Kansas anymore. Thank you so much for having me. Should I really be here? I'm just a little baby. I mean, I'm so excited to be here. It's always so great. And let's do it.
You were just here on Monday with me.
I was.
We were doing the show with Edward Otto Zelke from the Gay Men's Chorus.
Amazing.
And we had a great time.
We did.
Right? And I was telling you on Monday about how I miss you posting your dancing And this morning or yesterday, I saw you and Keynes go over to Zumba.
Yes, I was channeling my inner Latina. Spicy.
Well, can I tell you that as a Latina, you are now an honorary Latina.
Gracias.
Okay, because let me tell you, some of those moves that you were doing, like, follow Brian Bender, okay? So you could see his Zumba class way too early in the morning because I don't wake up before 10. But like, just like your moves were so natural.
You know what it is? My mom put me in dance when I was just a little baby, and I've just been dancing my whole life, and I just really enjoy it. I used to be a ballet dancer. Now I do Zumba, and I love it. And I stand up at the front with my little shorty shorts.
Very short.
They are very short.
Very short.
But hey, it is what it is. We're in South Florida. It's hot as balls. Can I say that? It's hot as balls.
Can.
It's hot as
it's
balls
very
here.
Hot. It's very hot. It's like hot like underballs.
And I like to add to the hotness if people are into that. If you're not, I'm sorry.
Well, you do add to the hotness.
Thank you.
And your hot shorts. And we say thank you for sharing it with the rest of the world.
I appreciate the thank you. Taken.
All right, Brian. Thank you for being here at the table at Queer News Tonight.
Thank you.
Next up, let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's Von Biggs. Von is a force, period. I could just end it right there, okay? But he really is a force in LGBTQ plus and HIV justice. Using his skills as a national speaker, he's a writer and a passionate HIV empowerment advocate. He pushes back against stigma, pushing back, and complacency with unapologetic truth. Von is a community engagement coordinator for Holy Cross Health, executive committee member for the National HIV Aging Advocacy Network, and a founding board member of TransEd. Von, free HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis C testing is going to be held over at the Bear Cave. You know where the Bear Cave is.
Right.
Happening July 9th. Tell us what's happening now.
That's right, Faye. I'll see you there, right?
Yes, of course.
Right.
Behind the tire, baby.
Yeah, so join me next Thursday, July 9th, from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Bear Cave at the Eagle, Wilton Manors, where Holy Cross Health will be providing free HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis C testing with results in about 20 minutes. We will also have free take-home testing kits with Narcan available as well. Stop by, get tested, pick up some resources, and say hello. Stop and see Dr. Jason Sievers. He'll be there joining me for the evening. So it'll be a great night of fun and testing, and just enjoy the night. So I love the Eagle.
Thank you.
I love what they do.
Well, I do too. I think everybody who's been there has been, loves it.
Thank you, Chuck King, for having us love the Eagle.
Yes.
Go, Brian.
I just want to say thank you for what you and your organization are doing. You really are everywhere in the community, and you're helping people because it's very important that everybody gets themselves tested and know their status. It's not taboo. It's just something that we need to do if we're living in the community. We share good laughs. We share good fun together. We also share some germs. So it's good to, get it under control. So
I had lunch today with an organization, and they were actually asking me, like, do you have a lot of people that not been, that they've all been tested? Our community's been tested, right? And I'm like, you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
How many people have come through the Eagle have never been tested for HIV? When I go talk to college students, how many of them don't even know that you could get a syphilis test? Don't even know. Yeah. They still think you get HIV from a toilet seat, but
education is key. And for a lot of people in our community, we want to forget about the realities that are really happening, right? Narcan. It's important, right? Many people in our community have died from, overdosing, and it's just a sad state of affairs, but it's an actual real state of affairs. And about knowing your status, like that was something that we have been chanting for years and years and years. Right. Yet I also feel that some people, it's like, oh, I just don't want to know, Now, my question for you, Von, somebody lives in Wilton Manors, wants to go to your event. Do they need insurance to be able to be tested?
No.
Period. You didn't even flinch on that one.
Do you have to
do you need money? Do you need to dance there a night?
Not at all.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So all those things would be free.
I don't need your driver's license. I don't need
Really?
anything. I mean, yes, you have to fill out a form. But,
Yeah.
But that's also why we have a medical professional there. So if there is an abnormal result, we have somebody that can talk to them right away, get them connected to care.
Some counseling.
Right.
I love that. I love that. And now let's talk about your medical professional. Okay, Mr. Severs is amazing.
Mr. McDreamy.
Mr. McDreamy.
Was he the one
All right.
traffic?
Like I
Yeah.
keep on telling out South Florida that you have to put hottest doctor, and then that's Jason Severs. You know what I mean? Like just because if you've ever met Jason, he is just amazing. He's super smart, right? But aside from that, he's hot. Okay, he makes me question my sexuality. All right,
Really?
I don't like boys, but you talk to Jason and you're just like, hi, how are you? You know, so. How long has Jason been doing this?
So he and I both started at Holy Cross around the same time. So we've been there over 3 years now. I think he started 2 weeks before me. And I remember when I started, we were doing vaccines at the time at the Eagle. And I had, or not at the Eagle, but we were doing vaccines for the community. And I had talked Holy Cross and let's do a vaccine night at the Eagle. And it happened to be I was going to be given a talk at the Eagle that night on how people from the Leather King community should talk to their doctors, you know, to find, like, how should you have those conversations with your doctors? And he was like, how is it you're coming into my backyard and you're not letting me know? My clinic's down the street and you're not letting me know. And we're like,
He wanted to be a part of it.
He wanted to be a part of it, and ever since then, that's what it's been.
That's fabulous.
Yep.
I love the idea of you have a shot and get a shot, you know, at a bar. So that's
water
awesome.
lots of water in between.
But I
Lots of
mean, I
water,
don't think
for
that they
sure.
would tell you to take a shot right before that.
But I'm not a medical professional. That's above my.
It's a finger stick. It's a finger stick. So
But how awesome that we have this community with all the crap going on.
Right.
You know, our trans siblings being targeted at every corner. You know what's going on with healthcare.
Right.
That these two things can be real. Holy Cross Health and the Eagle.
Right.
Yep.
To save lives.
Absolutely.
Because there's holy in everything.
That's
so
amazing.
Very good.
That's amazing.
Keep the
Thank you,
holy and
Congress.
Holy Cross.
I love it.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the free HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis C testing going on at the Eagle Wilton Manors on July 9th. And there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out the FayWhat Show. Faye, I am so freaking excited to be doing this a second time this week with you.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. You are amazing. Doesn't she look beautiful?
Aw, thank you.
Sometimes I text you and I just say, like, you looked really great in that blue, or I told her before, I said, your hair looks really great on camera and in person. You are just fabulous. And I want to say thank you for all of the hard work and the emceeing that you do and the events hosting and planning and just everything in this community. You're like our main cheerleader.
I love that. I love that a lot. You know, well, today I didn't add an event to this because I was too busy watching those two people climb the Empire State Building, right, from the leather community. I'm just making them part of the leather community. Don't get mad at me, leather community, because I'm not sure yet. But because I saw their black, beautiful masks, I was like, okay, they could totally be part of, you know, a community that we stand next to. You know what I mean? So random, okay? Look at my social media page, right? These two people climbed up the Empire State Building all the way to the tippy top where the antenna is. Then the guy decided to go down on one knee and propose.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay? All right, with a flag. What did the flag say? Something about love.
When the power of love outweighs the power, something about love and power.
Something about love and power.
Be positive, yeah.
And, you know, it was probably a slap to, you know who.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
For sure. I just want to say I'm super excited for you to be here. I'm excited that I'm here along with Vaughn, and I just want to have a really great time and a fun time like we always do. So,
yes,
thank
all
you.
right.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You know, they introduce you as anchor, and I'm going, why aren't you anchoress?
Anchor us.
You know,
Anchoress.
I mean, you need to be like,
mistress. Anchoress.
Right.
Anchor.
Right.
Oh, I got it. I'm a little dense. I look smarter than I really am.
He's like, that doesn't sound
I
right.
was like, anchor us here in this place, or anchoress. Okay, I got like dominatrix, anchor it.
Well,
anyway,
dominatrix. Okay, that works too.
Anyway.
All right, boys, let's get started. Let's get started on Queer News Tonight. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. The Stonewall Museum marks the 57th anniversary of the Stonewall Riots. The pivotal event that started the modern LGBTQ plus civil rights movement was reenacted on Sunday with everything from a police raid to community reconciliation. Queer News Tonight special correspondent John Hayden was there and filed this report.
Hey everyone, John Hayden at Stonewall Museum in Fort Lauderdale for an event to remind us that the first Stonewall was a real riot.
It's the cops! Everybody run! Actually, it's the reenactment of the Stonewall riots at the Stonewall Museum in Fort Lauderdale. It's been 57 years since police raided the Stonewall Inn, kicking off the modern LGBTQ+ civil rights movement. Police run people out of the bar, only to be met with resistance in the streets.
Whose streets? Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
But on this day, police take shelter in the bar, then come out with a giant pride flag. The brash, in-your-face symbolism shows times have changed, but the fight goes on.
86-47! 86-47!
This comes a week after the Stonewall Pride Parade was rained out. Two of the Grand Marshals got to have their moment by throwing the first bricks.
Today is a very special moment. It's an opportunity for all of us as a community to come together as one in love and support and to empower each other and to embrace each other. And that's what Fort Lauderdale is all about, and that's what Stonewall is all about.
All right, Cal, no rain out today. Did you throw a brick?
I did throw a brick.
And what does it feel like? Do you feel like you're connecting with our past by throwing a brick today here?
Absolutely. Definitely helped me connect with the past because I wasn't around in the 60s to be there present, but being able to be here now in 2026 and to reflect on the people who actually threw the first brick is actually quite a huge honor.
Hopefully, we'll be able to see this entire crowd here next year and even more people as Florida's anti-DEI law will be in effect unless, of course, a court steps in and says, stop that. And hopefully a court will. At the Stonewall Museum in Fort Lauderdale, I'm John Hayden.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And that was John Hayden reporting. Make sure that you follow Greater Wilton Manors for all of his reportings. He is always on top of any kind of event or any kind of news story that is going on in your town. So make sure that you stay in the know with John Hayden. And so I thought that was beautiful. Yep. You know what I mean? Thank you so much to Robert Keston for being his crazy self. I love this. I was there last year and I threw a brick and it was 115 degrees outside and it didn't matter, you know, because it was like, you know, we weren't there when it happened, right? And we're reliving. We kind of have like a generational trauma from this, you know, because we weren't there.
Passed down somehow.
You know, yes. So to be able to reenact kind of was like a healing, I think, for us in our community. I also love that they had chosen two of the Grand Marshals. I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased. Cal, I adore you.
Hi, Dr. Cal.
That they got Dr. Cal Gajraj and also the city manager, Miss Raquel, that were also supposed to be Grand Marshals for the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival that unfortunately was rained out. So they weren't able to. You know, when the parade was canceled, I was with Cal and I can tell that he was affected, that he was sad, you know? And I was like, baby, no one can take this away from you. You are my Grand Marshal of Stonewall Pride, okay? Like,
nobody ever says that to me. Okay, we'll talk after. But, you know, Robert, a while back, I was doing some education at the Stonewall Museum, and Robert was saying that when they were getting the funding for Stonewall Pride Museum, one of the, I don't know if it was the city mayor at the time or a commissioner, said that you won't get this money. You'll only get this money after a lot of fighting, but we're not going to put a bathroom in your facility. And also, we're not going to allow a back door in the building that leads out to a publicly accessible bathroom because, you know, the gays do horrible things in bathrooms.
My God.
And so it's one of those things where it wasn't that long ago that there were still these attitudes that you have this wonderful museum and archive called the Stonewall Museum, and people were still at the city level, still being very homophobic. And it really touched me and it gave me goosebumps, you know, that in this day and age, that there are still hateful people out there. And it's all the more necessary that we do these group events together where, you know, throwing the, you know, a brick, and even if it's 115 degrees out, and just just really connecting with our queer elders, I think is the most important thing.
Look, the Stonewall Museum and Archives has our history in it.
Yes.
Right? These people can try to erase us from everyday life and from history, but LGBTQ plus history is American history. Okay? And Robert will not stand for our erasure under no circumstances, right? So now, yeah, you can tell Robert whatever you want. You're not going to get the money. You're not going to get the funding, blah, blah, blah. You suck. He doesn't listen to any of you. He doesn't care. He lets that go right off him like Teflon, okay? Now, he has his set and his intentions, and he's manifesting, because it will happen, the new building for Stonewall. He's going to get this building.
He will.
He's going to get the money for this building, all right? I don't know where he's going to pull it from, all right? I went on The Advocate, well, you know, one of our favorite publications to read since the beginning of time, right? And a big story on Robert and Stonewall Museum was in there.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not going to stop until he makes sure that we are represented and that our library of history of our people is set where it needs to be for future generations to know that, you know, we fought hard and the people behind us fought harder.
Right. Yep.
And you're seen and you're heard and you're loved, and nothing's going to change that because you're LGBTQ plus.
Right. You know, recently I was leading a workshop, and it was during Pride Month, and it was a bunch of aging LGBTQ individuals that we were in the room together. We were talking about, what does Pride mean to you? You know, because a lot of them were here during that, right? But the discussion turned because I said, you know, I talked about the brick, you know, and whether it was a brick, a shoe, or whatever, a brick. But, you know, a brick is made from the earth, right? It's formed into something. We use it today to build buildings. And today that brick represents resilience, right? So it was like, who do you hold that brick for? And I could not believe the emotion that poured out of people.
I'm getting emotional.
You know, because you think about when they just started, as soon as they could bring up somebody's name, it caught them, you know, in their throat, and they're getting emotional to think about it, because it's like, and a lot of times, a lot of our older generation has never really dealt with the trauma.
Yes.
They
right?
didn't process
Right.
it.
Yes. I mean, we could never understand what it's like to go to Hunters and then the next day our name is on the paper and we get fired from our job because we went to Hunters.
Right.
We will never understand what that is like.
Right.
You know, so they've got that trauma that they for sure have not worked through.
Yeah.
Brian, you were going to say?
Yeah, you know, the thing is we are a community, and, you know, we could have a spicy Latina here. We could have somebody from the where are you from, Vaughn?
Midwest.
From the, I thought so. We could have a guy from the Midwest. We could have like a New York, well, I wasn't born in New York. My family, a New York Jew that lives in South Florida, you know, but what unites us is that we are all part of the same community, and we come in so many different shades and different backgrounds and different this and different that, but we are united by love, and we really have to hold that really strong and in our hearts. And I think this is the way to do it, is to really just process these really hard things that come up for us in our community, move on from them in the ways that we can, in healthy ways, and, you know, work toward a better future for the next generation, because that's what we need to do. I'm really very optimistic, even though it doesn't always seem like there's good news coming out at the top levels of our government. But I believe that we as a community are stronger together. Isn't that that's a saying, stronger together? But I believe that we are stronger together, and I'm so happy that we are able to all coalesce around our rainbow flag, even if it gets painted over, the paint chips and the rainbow comes through. So,
amen.
I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up trans rights. Man accused of killing trans UW student found incompetent to stand trial. The man accused of fatally stabbing a University of Washington transgender student more than 40 times has been found incompetent to stand trial. 31-year-old Christopher Leahy faces a first-degree murder charge in the death of 19-year-old Juniper Blessing, who was found dead in the laundry room of her off-campus apartment complex in Seattle on May 10th. Prosecutors say Blessing suffered more than 40 stab wounds. At a hearing on Monday, King County Superior Court Judge Joe Campagna ruled Leahy is not currently competent to face trial and ordered him to undergo competency restoration treatment at Western State Hospital. Leahy will remain under evaluation for 90 days before returning to court in September, when a judge will reassess whether he is competent to stand trial. Investigators say surveillance video placed Leahy in the laundry room during the killing, and charging documents allege his fingerprints were found in the blood smears at the scene. He surrendered to police 3 days later with his parents and an attorney. King County prosecutors say they have not found evidence that Blessing's killing was a hate crime. Following Monday's hearing, Axton Burton of Pride Across the Bridge said, quote, "The amount of pain that our community has been forced to hold with this atrocity is not okay. Being able to bear witness is very important to us," end quote. And being able to bear witness is one of the most important things that we can do in this moment, and say her name, Juniper Blessing. May she be a blessing and a memory for the people that loved her. And I'm so sorry that this continues to occur in our community, even if it wasn't a hate crime.
Yeah.
The transgender people are at much greater risk of being killed in a domestic dispute, in random violence and hate crimes. It's a problem.
It's sad. It's sad. And, you know, justice delayed is agony for Juniper's family.
Yeah.
All right. And that's why it should be a speedier process than it is. Competent restoration. Can we send, you know who, to get some competent restoration?
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
We first broke this story, I want to say over a month ago, and we had like still pictures of the bathroom area, the laundry area near where Juniper's apartment was, and where she was fatally stabbed over 40 times. And I recall him doing something to the video camera. Right? I don't know if it was covering it or moving it or whatever it is, right? But if you are aware enough to know that there's a security camera there filming everything that you're doing, and you don't want to get caught, that right there says that you're in your right mind.
Yeah.
You know, for me,
Yeah.
okay? Again,
Agreed. And the fact that he surrendered himself, he needed at 31 years old, he needed his mommy and daddy or whoever his parents were to go with him to surrender himself. You know, I want to say, be a man. And if you're going to commit a crime, you turn yourself in if that's, you know, if they're onto you, and that's what you need to do. I just think, you know, how are they going to restore this person's competency? Are they going to get him on? I mean, you're medically adjacent. Like, what do they do for that?
I have no clue.
Like, how do they restore someone's sanity? I mean, I think anybody that cold-blooded killer is not mentally stable, but you need to be put on trial.
Well, I mean, and this is a freaking hate crime. Okay, someone needs to make sure to put that. It's a hate crime. Okay, our trans siblings are getting killed every freaking day, and nobody gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, at least this guy got caught.
Yeah. Yeah. And 40 times. And you know, the thing is that is not just like, and I'm not denigrating this either, but I'm just saying stabbing somebody is so much different than just pulling the trigger on somebody and walking away. You know, it is a crime of passion. Yes. Even if he didn't know this person, maybe, I don't know what their relationship was, if they even had a relationship together, but the fact that you could do that 40 times to a person, I mean, that gives me like nails on a chalkboard.
Well, and it's so personal, you know? Brian, okay? Like
personal.
It takes like velocity to get this into somebody. Yeah. All right. I hate to be so graphic with you viewers. I'm so sorry, right? But it takes strength to get that just one stab.
Yeah.
40 times, okay? And this is a face-to-face. Like you're looking at the person while you're stabbing them 40 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's a place in hell below hell.
In the basement of hell.
And like you wish you could go to hell someday, okay? For people like this.
And Brian, you talked about being able to bear witness, and that's so important for certain people. That's the way they heal. Yeah, is being able to bear witness to that. Even though as tragic as it is, that's how they're going to heal, is seeing that something's been done, and delaying it and delaying it and delaying it is only going to make it worse for them.
But what we're doing here is bearing witness because we're holding space for Juniper, and we want to send wherever this person is, we're sending our good energy and good vibes. So this is us doing our little part that we can do in making the community aware. So
what he said, what the cute guy to my left.
Thank you.
Is it to my left? You're right. But you know him. Yeah. All right.
I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up the USA view. Ohio resident helps capture the lesbian couple wanted in the Maryland mother's murder. Montgomery County Police say 2 women wanted in connection with the murder of a Silver Spring woman have been arrested in Ohio after a resident recognized them from media coverage. Police identified the suspects as Vanessa Henderson, 29, of Clarksburg, Maryland, and her girlfriend, Samantha Rabel, 36, of Phoenix, Arizona. The pair are charged with first-degree murder in the May 22nd death of Hildy Henderson, 67, who was Vanessa's mother. An autopsy determined Hildy Henderson died from a blunt force trauma injuries. Investigators have not announced a motive. Authorities say a nationwide search generated multiple tips before the women were located in Genoa, Ohio. CBS News reported the resident, Adrienne Behrman, had allowed the women to stay in her home after they claimed they were fleeing a toxic living situation. She became suspicious after discovering one woman's identity through a Cash App transaction and searched her name online. The suspects are being held at the Ottawa County Detention Center awaiting extradition to Maryland. Wow, that's one. I'm shocked with one, how the woman feels about knowing that they were in her home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few things, and I want to say, Good Samaritan, right? That's the Good Samaritan.
Yep.
You saw something,
You say
Yep.
you said something,
Yep.
right? Another one is, yes, this is a lesbian couple, but this is not about lesbians. And I want to make sure, this isn't like we're reporting the story that this has to do because
that
I
lesbians
don't want,
kill people.
Yeah, lesbian.
it's
No,
not that.
because that's all we need to hear.
It's exceptionally rare for
Yes.
women to do any kind of crimes that we do stories on. Usually the boys.
Right. I'm like, this is not lesbian.
We're not perpetuating this trope that lesbians do this. It's the men, damn it.
No,
Yeah.
listen, can we give that Ohio woman her own true crime detective show?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, because I watch that shit every night, right, till I go to sleep. And this is it.
Okay.
You know, ID that station is everything.
Right.
They
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
Dateline and everything forever, ever. Okay, I mean, they deserve a Dateline. All right, But the reality is that she trusted her instincts, did one Google search, and solved what a nationwide manhunt was chasing. So the moral of the story is, don't lie to people who know how to use Cash App.
Yes.
There's one wrinkle in the story that I'm intrigued by, and the thing is that they said that they were fleeing a toxic living situation. There's never a reason. If you can get up and move, if you're old enough to have a girlfriend and old enough to travel across the state, you're old enough to get up and move if somebody's being abusive to you. And at the same time, because two things can be true at once, that and maybe they felt that there was no other way if the mother was abusive. And it's not an excuse. I'm just saying that maybe they weren't lying when they said that they were fleeing a toxic living situation.
You're so cute, Bri.
Oh.
Okay, show receipts.
Show receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies, show those receipts.
Okay, because you're making lesbians look bad.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just trying to make it, in my mind, I'm trying to understand this. So, I don't think that murder comes out of nowhere. I think, either you're crazy or something triggered you or whatever it
For
was.
the most part, it's usually premeditated.
Premeditated, and especially blunt force trauma. That means they
And her mother.
It was her mother, but Gypsy killed her. Had somebody kill her mother too. So that's what I'm thinking. She went in the bathroom, got in fetal position, and her mother was stabbed to death. But her mother was also poisoning her and making her sick and all. So you never really know what's going on in people's family lives. And I just want to wait until everything comes out in trial before I make an ultimate judgment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
murder
She's
is never
dead.
okay.
Steve,
She's dead.
could you put her picture on the
Yeah.
screen again, please?
We were talking about her makeup. Oh, the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, she did it.
Yeah.
You can't judge like that, Faye. That's
Sorry,
wrong.
I'm so
Faye,
allegedly.
Just because she has awful makeup does
Awful.
not mean
Like a tutorial girl, something. Like, come
Well,
on, use TikTok. I mean, like, hello.
she should have done something with the eye makeup, maybe.
Your girlfriend's cute. The Orange is the New Black girl, she's cute. Just saying. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up trans rights. Transgender troops win key court ruling in military ban case. A federal judge has certified a class of transgender service members and prospective recruits challenging the Trump administration's military ban. This marks a major procedural step in the case, allowing it to move beyond the individual plaintiffs. U.S. District Judge Anna Reyes issued the ruling Tuesday in Talbot versus Trump during a hearing in Washington, D.C. The decision allows the lawsuit to proceed on behalf of a broader group of transgender people affected by the policy. Reyes also scheduled a trial for January 4th. Shannon Minter, legal director of the National Center for LGBTQ+ Rights, said, quote, "This is an incredibly significant case for our country, for the military, and for the thousands of transgender individuals who have dedicated their lives to military service. The court's decision to certify a class is an important step and will keep to ensure that any positive decision will benefit all transgender troops, not just the individual plaintiffs in this case. We look forward to an opportunity to prove our case," end quote. During the hearing, Reyes suggested the class would likely be narrower than initially proposed. Reyes also criticized delays in the litigation, telling plaintiffs' attorneys, quote, "We should be well into a permanent injunction. You have wasted on behalf of your clients about a year of litigation time," end quote. The Trump administration continues to defend the military policy in court. Trans troops have already proven they can serve by serving, okay? The question isn't whether they're qualified, it's why they keep having to prove it in court over and over again. Last I checked, courage doesn't come with a gender marker. It just is, you know? And like, I've spoken to trans military folks, and it's like, they love our country so much, where I'm trying to talk them out of loving our country, which is crazy. You know, it's kind of how it's the 250th, anniversary of our country, and I want to be more excited, but I can't be, So you ask any of these transgender folks, would they still serve? And, they will all mostly say, yes, they would, because of the love for this country.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, the military is not supposed to get necessarily its joie de vivre or its morale from the current administration. They're doing it because the military should be separate from the government. The president is the commander in chief, but he is a civilian commanding the military, and the military is its own thing. It's very important that, transgender people continue fighting for their rights under the current administration, because it's going to be under attack, from all sides. If they don't, if they're unable to win the government, is unable to win their case against banning transgender troops, they're going to try a different way to get those people out. And I really applaud anybody who is serving our military, transgender, cisgender, gay, straight, queer, whatever it may be, because thank you for your service, because there are people here in this United States. We might not be so happy with the things that we're seeing, but we know your sacrifice. And I want to say, in honor of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, thank you, because you are what makes our country great.
But this story is a step in the right direction.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
was doing some research on it today when I was reading about it. I had to put my glasses on because I can't read my notes.
Also because you look super cute with them
You
on.
do.
That's
I like
why.
them.
I just can't read that way. But anyway, it's a significant procedural win, but it's not a final decision.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's like the possibility of the ban itself, and the judge, as she has said, may narrow the class in her ruling. So it means she may make it even more of a narrower class than just keeping it open to all transgender.
Transgender, that's less than 1% of the population.
Right.
So you want to make it less than
Right.
what? So the transgender folks with brown eyes? Like I don't
Right.
understand. You know what I mean? And again, it's like isn't that the Secretary of Defense? I don't think he's ever even served
Pete
a day.
Hegseth?
You know?
National Guard.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
And I'm not carrying water for that guy. I'm just speaking factually about that. He was during Biden's inauguration. He was not allowed to serve, for any of the ceremonial stuff related to the inauguration of President Biden, because he was determined not extreme enough to be kicked out of the military, but too extreme to be there at Biden's inauguration because of his tattoos, because of some of his professed beliefs. And really quickly, not to belabor the point, what makes the Constitution a really awesome document, whether or not we like how it's being applied now, is that somebody in Idaho can't bring a suit against the federal government about something that's happening in Florida. Vice versa, somebody from Florida can't bring suit against something that's happening in another state that is not affecting them. So that's what is called standing. So what this judge is doing in this moment is saying that the people that are bringing this suit are affected by whatever policy it is that's happening in the military. And that's the genius of the Constitution, if you want to go there, because in certain other countries, you can clog up the court system by just saying, I don't like this, I don't like that, I have enough money, I'm going to hire a lawyer, and you bring a suit. And what it does is it really makes things not so permanent. Gridlock is built into our constitutional order. Things can't be changed that quickly at the amendment level. So we really rely on courts to do the right thing for minority folks, for marginalized communities. And I commend this judge. I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe I won't be commending them, in a couple months, but I want to commend them for saying that these people do have standing and that their case can proceed so that they can get their day in court and have it be fair. I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up trans rights. U.S. Supreme Court upholds state bans on transgender girls competing in girls' sports. The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld laws in West Virginia and Idaho that bar transgender women and women from competing on female school sports teams, a ruling that has also protected similar bans in 27 other states. In decisions issued Tuesday, the court ruled in West Virginia v. BPJ and Little v. Heckox. Writing for the majority, Justice Brett Kavanaugh said schools may base eligibility for female sports teams on biological sex. Kavanaugh said, quote, consistent with Title IX and the Equal Protection Clause, we hold that the states may maintain women's and girls' sports for biological females. The Constitution and Title IX do not require an overhaul of women's and girls' sports throughout America, end quote. It remains unclear exactly how many transgender athletes are affected by the bans across the 27 states. I want to start by saying this. One of the main drivers of this anti-trans, trans girls not being able to play on girls' teams is that they take away scholarships and opportunities from biological women or biological female girls. Of the thousands of scholarships that are offered to girls to play sports, one has been given to a transgender female. And the other argument is that they beat the women, or it's men that undergo these life-changing procedures, operations, hormonal treatments, you name it, just so that they can go out and get their kicks on beating girls. There has never been a transgender athlete, male to female, who has ever beat a girl or a woman or cisgender woman in a semi-professional, amateur, or you name it, any kind of a high-stakes athletic competition. So this is really searching for a solution to a problem that the other side of the aisle created.
That doesn't exist.
That
You know what
doesn't
I mean?
exist.
Like, this gets me every single time. We're rewriting laws over a tiny number of student athletes while schools face way bigger problems every single day.
And I see it because I work in schools, yeah.
This debate has never really been about sports, ever. It's become politics and gym clothes, period.
We did a story on this about the Irish dancing that's going on in Orlando, where they were going to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Irish dancing?
Yeah, Irish dancing, right? So here's what we need to do. Our trans men and women need to go. Let's play for the opposite team. So our trans women go play on the men's team, and the trans men and you go play on the women's team, and let's see how that happens. Mm-hmm. Because I think that would prove a point of like, so you're going to allow this. It's like biologically they fit, right? So okay, let's go.
Yeah. It's interesting right now, I think it's kind of like the earth is shifting under our feet in terms of what even people on our side of the aisle who do support transgender girls playing on cisgender teams or, in mixed leagues. I think we're all trying to navigate, like, when is the appropriate, is there ever an appropriate cutoff for a biological male to play on a female team?
We need stats, honey. We need data, and there's no one willing to put the money in or the funding or the time to put it. We don't know how many athletes we have. We don't know if situations like you said, where there is, first of all, a trans woman is a woman.
Right.
Period. So if she got a woman's scholarship, she got what she deserved. All right. Period. End of period. Okay. You know what I mean? But like, again, so we can show these fools, right? You know, I have close friends who have transitioned, and in their transitioning phase, Brian, these girls could not pick up a remote. Okay, that's how they had just lost all their body mass. Their strength was nothing. They couldn't put a chair in. You know, yet they think that, like, you know, that these transitions are being done to just fake people out and take away their scholarships, and that's not the case, you know?
Absolutely. And it's interesting. I'm listening to a lot of politicians saying, well, I support, you know, trans girls playing up till middle school. I support them through college. I support them, you know, here, there, you know, whatever it is. And I think people of goodwill are really, honestly, you know, they don't want to see people excluded. And they're also trying to figure out, like, what their stance is. And my stance is that a transgender girl is a girl. My stance is that nobody should feel excluded from team sports. I think they should make all sports in school. I think they should make it co-ed. So that way it's not even an issue as to, you know, whether you're a boy or girl or whatever you are, however you identify. That's just not the world that these people want to live in. And it's very binary. It's very male or female, black or white. And if you don't fit into one of their boxes, they want to exclude you. And it's another, like you said, it's politics and gym clothes. You know,
but show us the numbers.
Show us the numbers.
Who's out there complaining and saying, I want to do this? Because I'm not hearing that part of the story.
We need that. We need the data. We need the receipts. Okay. And for all those people that are like, yes, I support. Okay. By you saying I support, is that your support? By you saying I support? All right. We need folks to stand up and go, all right, let's get the funding. Let's find out exactly what it entails when a young person, transitions or whatever, you know? And, you know, no one's getting a reassignment surgery in elementary or in middle school. That's not happening. You know, if you're doing a puberty blocker or you're doing some therapy, that's gender affirming care. It's not a lot at this age.
Right.
You know, I'm a cisgendered male and I get my Botox done, and I feel like that's very gender affirming to me because it makes me feel a little bit more masculine, even though I'm not super, you know what,
We're not going to ask you where you inject it.
Just in my face. Faye, you said you wouldn't talk about that on camera. No, nowhere other than my face, guys. But anyway,
I'm making notes.
Make some notes.
I need to make some notes.
Anyway, but you know, gender affirming care could be like if you're balding and you're a male and you want to feel more masculine, you get that done. It could be a boob job for a cisgender female.
Because gender affirming care, that word was not created for cisgender individuals. It was created to attack our transgender community.
Right.
Line.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you want to, not you, but the hypothetical, the you out there, whoever you are that's watching and is not a friend of ours.
Not you.
You, the other one to your right or left or wherever. You know, we have to be able to use their language to be able to frame it in a way that is going to speak to their concerns.
So they can understand it.
And whether or not they're going to agree with it or not, it's like, oh, you want to play that game? Let's play that game. Oh, you want to play this one? Okay, we'll meet you on that playing field. No pun intended, playing field. Anyway, but you have to speak to people in the language of the arguments that they're presenting.
That LGBTQ 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Village People frontman Victor Willis dies at 74 after short but aggressive illness. According to a statement from the family, Village People co-founder and lead singer Victor Willis has died at the age of 74 following a short but aggressive illness. Willis died on Tuesday, June 30th, the last day of Pride, one day before his 75th birthday. His passing was announced on the Village People's Facebook page. The statement read, quote, "We are profoundly sad to announce the death of Victor Willis, lead singer of Village People," end quote. The group also requested privacy for Willis's family and loved ones during this time. Willis was one of the founding members of the Village People, the disco group best known for the global hit YMCA, a song that became a lasting anthem in popular culture and remains closely associated with LGBTQ celebrations and pride events around the world. Rest easy, Victor. You know, YMCA became more than a song to many. It became a celebration. I mean, you hear this song now, and we all still do. Let's do it real quick.
YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can have.
So, I mean, it became a celebration. And like for all of us, we hear it at Pride, we hear it at events, we hear it everywhere. And then Trump got into office. And all of a sudden he started using it. And I kind of felt like you had stolen my dog. Like it was just kind of like, what? How dare you take our song away from us, right? And then I got to find out more about the Village People, where they're not all, gay, happy cowboy Indians like I thought they were.
Right.
But that doesn't take away from what that song means to so many of our community, So rest in peace, dear Victor. And play YMCA up there for everyone.
Right.
And thank you for your contributions to the gay and lesbian and queer communities with your wonderful music. Even if you didn't support us, you definitely will leave a lasting legacy. And I think a happy one. Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what the guy's name was that was the lead, vocalist. And
so which one is he? Was he the
police
Indian
officer?
The
I think he was a police officer. But we have some things with police officers. They're great. I have to say, in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, thank you so much for what you do. But in our community, it's like sometimes the police officer's a baddie and not in a good way, So he was just not the greatest police officer for our community. And but his music was very catchy. And I danced to it last night in Zumba. I didn't record it though.
Oh, that should have been a good
one. I should have.
Money talks. And at the end of the day, they got offered some money, a group that it's not like they're touring or anything with Shakira. You know what I mean? So somebody was offered a nice amount of money to allow certain people to use the song, and they did, I still am kind of confused as to how he would think that song was appropriate. You know what I mean? When you're talking about boys at the YMCA and, I mean, like it just...
My creative writer's mind thinks that maybe he identified as gay at one time, had some kind of a religious conversion or something, and then decided to disown it and say, we don't like those gay people. I don't know.
Very active in
I do, because I always try to figure out like what's behind that. And I have to think, I have to make up these stories in my mind to get on, because have you looked outside? It's hard to be alive these days. So, I try to cut people some slack, and I'm sorry you're dead. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. Mexico World Cup match overshadowed by homophobic chant. Mexican fans are reported to have used a homophobic one-word slur during the first half of Mexico's World Cup round of 32 match against Ecuador in Mexico City on Tuesday. According to AP, the chant was, quote, a one-word slur that means male prostitute in Spanish, end quote, and is commonly shouted when an opposing goalkeeper takes a goal kick. Fans allegedly used the slur about 5 minutes into the match as Ecuador goalkeeper Hernan Galindez prepared for a goal kick. The chant has repeatedly drawn criticism from LGBTQ+ advocates and soccer authorities. FIFA has previously fined the Mexican Football Federation over similar incidents. FIFA and CONCACAF have introduced anti-discrimination protocols, including stadium announcements and match stoppages to deter discriminatory chanting. Well, I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here. I don't think anybody should ever be called, a derogatory name in the heat of a fight or something like that. These are just a bunch of men, and maybe some women too, but mainly men that are just chanting something that's 2 syllables and starts with a P and ends with an O. And I don't know that I'm not a Hispanic person, but growing up in the Miami area, I do have to say that I think people are finding offense to something that's not really super duper offensive. I hope I'm not getting my gay card canceled, but I do think it's a soccer match, and I don't think that's the worst thing you can say at a soccer match. It's catchy. That's all.
Oh, we've been called worse than that walking up Wilton Drive. Come on.
Yes, we have. But I mean, come on. Use some extra brain cells, okay? Don't waste them all on the beer at the game. Right. I mean, again, puto. There's the word, okay? All right?
Thank you, Faye.
And here's, here's the thing. Like, again, within friends, if you're joking around, okay, But this is a match, okay? And the team can lose the game because you idiots started chanting that, okay? They stopped the game. They could put a flag down on there, whatever that means. And, and they could literally have your team lose because you're yelling out something that's honestly derogatory and just nasty. Again, maybe some people like to be called that. I probably know some gay boys that like to be called that. But
it's you. I see.
It's not all of you, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I get it.
I'm Colombian, and in Colombia we use a word very loosely that also means homosexual, right? And it's like saying bro here in Miami.
Starts
okay,
with an M,
it starts with an M. I hate that word. Okay, and when people play around and they call each other, I go, please don't use that in my presence. And it's hard for a Colombian family that has used that word since the beginning of aguardiente and arepas to stop. You know what I mean? But you've got to be that one voice to say, hey, you're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Use something else.
When I was visiting Bogota, Colombia for the first time, I've been there 4 times and I've been to Medellin. In Bogota, it's very common for like, yo bro, and they use this word.
Yes.
And I thought they were saying it about me. Like, how do they know I'm gay? Like, I'm like so concerned. I mean, I know I'm very gay, but when I'm there, I try to blend in. I wear what they wear, like I try to just be very, neutral when I'm traveling because I don't want a hate crime. And no, it's part of the, it's being safe. It's part of the culture. And I get your point. And I also, like I've been saying for the past couple of segments, I think 2 things can be true at once. Don't say that word. It's ugly. Use a better word. And also, let's get over it. That's kind of my...
hey, your mom smells.
Yeah.
Try something new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your mom's so fat she plays pool with the stars. I don't even know what that means.
Would boys be okay if we just started screaming, little dick? Like, would that be all right? Would anybody be like completely like, oh God, no, we can't say that. Okay, well then you should feel a certain way.
Well, I'm very confident with myself. Okay.
Well, and I heard that you are. Like,
we'll talk after.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up entertainment. Cara Delevingne confirms past romance with Amber Heard after Depp divorce. Cara Delevingne has confirmed she and Amber Heard were romantically involved after Heard's divorce from Johnny Depp. She was on the Louise Theroux podcast, asked about claims that Depp had been jealous of the relationship. Delevingne said, quote, I think he was pretty driven crazy by jealousy. Nothing was happening at that point. Later, after they divorced, it had, I suppose, we were close for a long time. And then when we were going through the divorce, yeah, we were entangled. But she was also entangled with other people, end quote. Heard filed for a divorce from Depp in 2016. Their legal battle culminated in a widely publicized 2022 defamation trial where Depp won his claim over Heard's 2018 Washington Post op-ed. One is, okay, so I'm going to say it this way. I learned a long time ago that other people's relationships aren't my business. The real surprise is that we're still talking about this, but talk about your own issues with a relationship. Don't throw the other person, oh, well, she was sleeping with other people under the bus.
Yeah.
Let that be her conversation.
Yeah. I don't think he's like he's an angel by no means.
No.
You know what I mean? I honestly believe that like hotness and crazy go together and they each have hotness and crazy.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I read somewhere, or I think we did a story about somebody pooping in somebody's bed or something like that.
It was her, supposedly.
Holy crap. I mean, here's the thing. We've been talking about this crap since 2016. I'm so over these two.
Right.
Like, I like them more, a couple of years ago when they were like, it just seems like just too much. Like, let it go. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like 10 years later, I'm not even thinking about my ex. You know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't even remember my ex's name. I was like, what was his name? What was his name? No, seriously. Because that's how much they should mean to you after a certain amount of time. It's like you move on. And also, we were told by our producer, or at least I took it this way, that people out there in comment land and people who are watching the show might have very strong opinions either way as to who you support, if you're Team Johnny or Team Amber. So I just want to walk that tightrope right down the middle and just say, I'm glad you both are in happier relationships or not or whatever. I haven't followed it. Good for you.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Report says Elliot Page will play Sinon in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Actor Elliot Page shared photos and videos from a boxing session showing off his toned physique and saying he's on the hook. He is hooked, on the sport. The 39-year-old praised coach Nolan Hansen, writing, quote, Training with Nolan has become an essential part of my life, end quote. Meanwhile, reports say Page will portray Sinon in Christopher Nolan's upcoming film, The Odyssey, replacing earlier speculation that he would play Achilles. The star-studded adaptation also features Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron, and is scheduled for release in July. Coming up, all right? So I love seeing Elliot Page booked, busy, and thriving and looking amazing. Maybe a little tan might help you, sir. But aside from that, you know, every time a trans actor lands a major blockbuster, it chips away at the tired myth that authenticity isn't marketable. It is, okay? Because talent always finds a way into the spotlight. And that boy is talented.
Right.
He's talented. Anything that he's been in has been amazing. His portrayal, right, is just always on point. I mean, he is an actor through and through. And he looks great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see Zendaya.
Lupita Nyong'o. I love Lupita Nyong'o.
I love Anne Hathaway. All right. What did I say? What was the last movie I just saw? Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh gosh, right.
How was it?
You didn't see it?
Give me your gay card.
Gay card gone.
Here you go.
Goodbye. Hold on. I'm putting my hand over your face.
Gosh.
Goodbye.
Okay. I'm being shamed.
You better watch that shit tonight. What's wrong with
I
you?
will.
Woo. Oh my God.
I haven't seen it. I didn't even know
Did
when
you
it was
even see the
released.
first one?
At least you could have lied and said
Oh,
yes. Did you
shit.
see the first one?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I believe him.
Okay.
No, I did. I saw it like 20 years ago. When was it out?
It was 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I was watching movies.
When he was born.
Yeah. No, please. Please, Faye. Thank you. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. Trevor Project may be excluded from revived LGBTQ plus 988 crisis service that it helped create. The Trump administration's plan to restore the LGBTQ plus youth option on the national 988 suicide and crisis lifeline is facing new controversy, as the Trevor Project, the organization that created the service, may be excluded from participating. The Trevor Project launched the Press 3 option in 2022, connecting LGBTQ youth in crisis with specially trained counselors. During its 3 years of operation, the service handled about 1.6 million contacts before it was eliminated in July of 2025 after the Trump administration cited a lack of funding. Congress later directed $33 million to restore LGBTQ plus specific crisis services by the end of this year. However, the nonprofit administering 988 is limiting applications to crisis centers that are currently active members of the network. Because the Trevor Project's specialized service was canceled last year, it is not currently considered eligible. Wow, you know, it's like they didn't have the money for it. It had to be allocated, $33 million had to be allocated through Congress, you know, but you could find money for endless wars, you could find money for regime changes, and
the stupid ballroom.
Ballroom, plaques, you know, fake gold in the Oval Office. You can't get that gold anywhere, supposedly, except at Home Depot and Lowe's. You know, they can find money for anything that they want, but when it comes to hurting people and it comes to hurting our community specifically, and in a lot of instances, sorry, there's no money for that. What they do have is an unlimited amount of hate. And it's unfortunate. You know, a lot of these stories that we talk about, you know, the only thing you can really say is that's really unfortunate. And go make your voices heard through the ballot box, you know, peacefully assemble. That's your First Amendment right to do that. And just get out there and spread word about what is going on. So that way people don't feel blindsided by the things that our government is doing. I think that's important.
We've had so many stories about the Trevor Project and the amazing things they've done, right? And we've talked often about our youth and needing mental therapy services.
9 out of 10 thinking about killing themselves.
Right.
That's too
and
many,
it was,
Yvonne.
Recently, I was on a college campus and I was walking through, and I was coming through their parking garage, and they had all these signs everywhere, and the papers that have all the phone numbers on that hang down. Yeah. And it was about if you're needing help with mental health services. Every page I saw, the numbers were completely ripped off of them. Like, people are needing that service.
Oh, like
Our
a little,
youth-
like take a
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
the
okay.
youth is wanting that type of service.
Yeah, so lives are being lost daily.
Right.
Okay, and nobody's talking about that. You know, you want to bring back the LGBTQ crisis line without the organization that helped build it?
Right.
That's like reopening a hospital and locking out the doctors. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Protocols.
You know,
right?
and I mean, and who are the ones at risk? These kids.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's very slick what they did, obviously, because it's like they got $33 million, but they put in the rules, nobody that has been previously excluded from the service can rejoin the service, which meant that in effect, it's like, fine, here's your $33 million, but we're not going to give it to the organization that founded it because they were previously excluded. So they're getting them on like a technicality, you know, they're not reinstating them. And
No, they're getting them on hate, Brian.
Yeah.
well, that's true too, Faye. Yeah.
As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we'd like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jet's Pizza. Jet's is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight, and our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is literally out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat! And I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Brian Bender and Von Biggs. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a good night.